We wait to bring you some live reaction. Let's show you the goal, remind you of the Chelsea goal tonight and where it actually came from the head of Enzo Fernandez. But how did he find himself in space in the middle of the box?
Yeah, I think Tottenham will be a bit disappointed with this. You see the first phase here, it's when the ball goes out wide in the second here, Cole Palmer's feet. I think the two centre-backs will be disappointed, if I'm totally honest. Romero and Van der Ven. If you look here, not once did he scan the shoulder, which I think as a centre-back, you need to scan your shoulder, you need to open your body position, you need to get touch tight to the strikers. And not once did they look round, so I think they'll be disappointed with that. If Van der Ven turns his shoulder, he sees the run, maybe he can pick him up. So, yeah, it was a poor goal for Tottenham point of view, great goal for Chelsea and a great assist for Cole Palmer.
I think you're spot on. I think we talk about scanning in midfield when the ball comes into you, but if you keep your eye on Van der Ven and Romero here, never once do they look over their shoulder. He's made a really cute move, Enzo Fernandez, just got in behind him, and both of them have got attracted to Jackson, and that's just left Fernandez all on his own. It's a really good header, great cross, not enough pressure on the ball as well by Jed Spence. He doesn't once try to stop the cross, and then you see a midfielder who's got all the time in the world. Great header, 5 goals this season, assists. It's what we question. He needs to do more of that, and it's a really good goal.
It was a big moment as well for Cole Palmer, who hasn't had an assist in the Premier League for almost 24 hours. Levi Colwill is joining the conversation.
Okay? Yeah.
Levi, good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Still a bit out of breath. I saw you taking on the fluids as you made your way across the room as well.
Yeah, it was a tough one out there, but it meant everything to me, the boys and the fans especially. The fans are amazing out there.
It was lively, wasn't it? It was loud.
That was amazing, and they got us through that, I can tell you that.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Go on, describe a little bit more about that.
How loud it was in there in the last 10 minutes, and it was giving everything. It's giving the Tottenham fans stick everything, and that's what we need. And I'm not gonna lie, that gave us an extra 10 minutes. The runs at the end, the boys were buzzing because of it, and yeah, that was amazing.
Did it feel like a difficult game in all?
I think we broke them down well at times, and other times we might have been in a low block and we were sitting in, but we felt comfortable. We knew how they play, and we knew how to hurt them. And I think today we played really well, and we could have scored way more chances.
Yeah, Levi, big fan. Congratulations today.
Thank you.
Obviously spoke before, you've got bundles of potential, you're growing all the time. What's next for you in terms of your development? 22 years of age, breaking into the England setup. What's next for you?
I think everyone always says, I've got a load of potential, but I don't think potential means anything. I think you've got to show it every game. And obviously this season, at times I have, and at times I haven't. So I need to keep progressing and learning, because I know where I can be, but to get there, I need to learn as much as I can, and under this gaffer especially, he's going to take me there for sure.
And in terms of leadership, obviously you're still young at 22, but you're experienced, you're gaining experience all the time. Do you see that as a role that you can grow into?
Yeah, definitely. I think the boys give me respect because they know how I like to push them, and I'm learning from Reece, from Toss, from players that have bundles of experience anyway. So I'm growing as I get older, and I've got amazing players around me that help me and help me learn.
Levi, about 55 seconds into the game, Trevor Chalobah played one into the space and in behind the 2 Tottenham centre-backs, and it's almost set the tempo.
Yeah.
Was that something you looked to do with Tottenham playing a high line? Because a lot of the time you do play out from the back and you're a bit more conscientious about how you play, but you were quite direct today.
Definitely, we need to win games at the end of the day. We're fighting for Champions League, and to win games we have to change our style sometimes, and we knew they had a high line, and we have Nicholas Jackson. I mean, he's a huge threat to feet and in behind, so we know if we play to his advantages, we'll get goals, and today we had great chances to score goals from that.
Just one thing you said there, Levi, to Gary was about, under this manager, you're sure that you will get there for sure. What is it about Enzo Maresca and his coaching ability then?
He's top, he's proper hands-on, he helps me out personally. He tells me what I need to improve on. He's not a manager that just says, you're amazing, you're amazing. No, he says, you need to improve on this. If I make a mistake in training, he says, come on, this is happening in games now, you need to take it to another step. And that's what he's done with me, and I know for sure that under him I'm going to improve bundles.
So getting this win tonight, you knew this was big, right,
Yeah.
in terms of the Champions League?
Of course, and also it's a derby. We can never take that away from anything. That win was for the boys and the fans, because I know how much it means to everyone.
Congratulations. 3 clean sheets on the bounce here at Stamford Bridge as well. No wonder they're cheering for you.
Thank you, boys.
Levi, thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
So that's Levi Colwill from the winning dressing room. Let's get some reaction, though, now from the losing dressing room. We can hear from the Tottenham boss. Ange Postecoglou is with Patrick Davison.
Well, Ange, your reflections at the end of what I guess is a difficult night?
Yeah, difficult night, tight game. Obviously, it's not an easy place to come, and we had to work hard to stay in the game. We let in a disappointing goal. then sort of fought our way back into the game, and fortunately weren't able to get anything out of it.
In terms of your team, your players getting on the ball, playing your football, did you get to the levels tonight, did you think?
We almost did. We tried to. I mean, I still think it's a work in progress. It's it's the first time we sort of got the whole group in together, but I thought there was elements of that tonight. I didn't feel like we were getting locked in at all. I thought in the front third we could have been a little bit cleaner with our sort of football, but for the most part I thought we handled it pretty well.
Is part of that then maybe going up another level again? Cohesion, rhythm, these players, a lot of them have been out a while. It doesn't just magically all come back, I guess.
Yeah, that's part of the process. I say it's a tough ask coming here anyway, but I still thought there was enough there tonight that shows that we're, the lads are kind of getting back to the level we need to.
Obviously, VAR plays its part. There's 2 long delays, 2 goals ruled out. Their one's tight, but I guess factual. I could see you didn't agree with Papsar's goal being ruled out. Just tell us how you saw it.
Look, it's killing the game, mate. It's not the same game it used to be. We all sat on our couches last night, watched TV, and I guarantee if Jared Gillett was the VAR last night, would have got a different outcome. So you just don't know what you're going to get, and you're standing around for 12 minutes just. It's killing the game, but no one cares about that. I think everyone loves the drama, the controversy. I'm sure there'll be 24-hour sort of discussion around it. I think that's what everyone wants. They're not interested in really that it's just killing the spectacle of the game. If the referee saw that and then he needs to see that for 6 minutes, tell me what's clear and obvious about it, mate. Just a clear explanation. What's clear and obvious about it? Last night we all sat on our couches and saw one replay and gone, oh my God. Tonight we sat there and we waited for 6 minutes for something that apparently the VAR official Jared Gillett thought was clear and obvious. It's crazy, mate. It's madness, but we accept it. And when you accept something, I guess you have to take the fallout from it.
So I guess part of your issue then, or a big part of your issue is the delay. But do you think that decision's wrong?
Look, Pat, you can try and force me into a corner.
I'm not trying to force you into anything.
You are. Did you think last night was a red card? Was it clear and obvious? Yes. Okay. How many minutes did it take this referee to figure out whether it's clear and obvious? In your just basic knowledge of human, vocabulary, clear and obvious, what does that suggest to you? That on the first replay, is that clear and obvious? If you have to watch something quite a few times, is that clear and obvious?
No, it's maybe not clear and obvious. I do think it's a foul, if I'm honest.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. So there you go. So the referee didn't see it. He then needs to see it for 6 minutes, but you get the right outcome, so you're happy, and that's why the game's going the way it is. And I guess people like you will continue to be happy sitting on your couches waiting for 6 minutes for clear and obvious stuff. That's fine. I don't agree with it, but that's fine.
Fine. What happened with you and the supporters tonight, Ange? Well, no, because they booed the substitutions you made. Yeah. Bergvall for Sarr, and when Sarr thought he'd scored, I saw that you looked at them. You heard the chants. You don't know what you're doing. You heard that?
No, mate. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know. You don't think you looked at the supporters?
No, I did. Yeah. I wanted them to be happy, mate. We've just scored a cracking goal, so I wanted them to. I was listening. I wanted them to cheer because they haven't had a lot to cheer about.
Fine. So that was nothing to do with the substitutions being booed. If it's a no, it's a no. I've got it wrong. Fine.
First time my substitutions have been booed. If you followed my sort of tenure, it's not the first time, and they're allowed to boo. But I wanted them to cheer because I thought it was a cracking goal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But look, you said in the week you did an interview with Mark Schwartz, and you talked about losing a large portion of the Tottenham fans. Yeah. Is that what we saw tonight? Do you feel like you've lost some of them?
I get it, Pat. You're trying really hard. That's fine. Look, you can paint. Look, you've already decided what the outcome is. My outcome tonight is it was a really tight game. I thought decided by a really poor decision, and apart from that, everyone got through healthy. We got some great minutes into some guys, and we moved to Sunday.
Okay. All right. And you saw enough for Thursday. Well, that's because the season hinges on that ultimately, doesn't it?
No. We've got to get Sunday first. We've got to go out there on Sunday. I think it's important that we continue to play.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Ange, there's no agenda.
No, that's fine, mate. No worries.
Right.
No problem.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
There is Ange Postecoglou talking to Patrick Davison. Enzo Maresca is standing by to speak to us. Enzo, do come in and join us.
Okay. How are you doing? You all right?
Good to see you, Enzo. Come and join us. Congratulations on a terrific victory. What was at the heart of it for you? And were you equally pleased with the performance as the result?
Yeah, I think both they were quite good. For sure, in this moment, the result is an important part because we are close to the end of the season. In the same time, we try to achieve the result, playing in the way we want to play. And I think for some moment the team was very good. Then we don't work every day, and we don't like to finish the game in the way we finished the last 10 minutes. But I just said that for me, if we want to become an important team, we need to win also this kind of game in a dirty way, an ugly way, and so yeah, quite happy.
So what were the elements of the performance that you did like?
No, overall I think it was a very good performance. I think we deserve to win the game. We create enough chances probably already first half to score. And then I think the performance was very good. In the last 10 minutes I think the team showed also effort, togetherness, spirit, and it's something that we need.
Congratulations, another Chelsea win against Tottenham at home. I just want to ask you, I obviously have seen progression, I've seen the way that you work personally, and I just want to ask you, how do you measure progression this season? Is it Champions League and winning the Europa? Is it one or the other? How do you measure progression for yourselves?
Yeah, if you measure on the result, for sure if we achieve a Champions League it's an important thing. But from my point of view, I try to see how we improve the day by day. And I can see since the first day, I think the team is getting better and better. We need to learn how to play different game because tonight, I think for us, it's better when we face teams that they press higher because we are more space to attack. In the last 4 games here, we played, Southampton, Leicester, Wolves, West Ham, all teams that they were waiting for us. So you struggle to find space. And we need to learn to play both kind of games.
Enzo, I know managers sometimes don't like to talk about individuals, but I want to ask about Moises Caicedo because I can't think of a better defensive midfield player around right now. He is covering so much ground. He picked up a really nasty injury. He could have come off. A lot of players might have even come off, but he stayed on and he was a warrior for you today.
Absolutely, completely agree with you. I think in this moment he's one of the best midfielder, defensive midfielder in the world. He's doing fantastic. The best thing about Moy is that every day he's working serious, he's very humble, he's very kind, he's polite, he's a fantastic guy. And I think today was another great performance. Also, I think we had more players like Trev, Chalobah did fantastic game, but I think overall all the teams was good.
And 55 seconds into the game, you turned Tottenham with a direct ball.
Yeah.
Was that something that you maybe thought that you could get success? Was that because you did it a few times and you got a lot of great situations from it?
Yeah, we prepare. We know that they are high pressing. We know that they hold the line, very high line. So we prepare today. We prepare more option in behind, even with Jadon, even with Pedro, Nico, and also the action, the goal we score. Enzo was in the right position once again, and yeah.
But is that also the Nicholas Jackson factor in your team? Did we see the difference that he can make to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just said to some of the players that at the end, this game belongs to the players. And if you don't have players, you can have the best idea. But and us with Nico, we are a different team because he's a threat in behind. Off the ball, he's pressing everyone. So we are a different team with Nico.
Do you feel you're in a race now, Enzo? It's this little mini season to reach Champions League football next season. Aston Villa have strengthened in January. They're in form. Newcastle have some momentum as well. Manchester City are not going away.
Yeah, but I think from now on is how you manage the emotion because in case you don't win, you see teams that they go ahead of you, and if you win, you see it there. So it's until the end it will be like this. It's how we manage the emotion, but for sure we have been all season there. The first part of the season, 5-6 months, we were even better. Now it's a matter to finish well.
Well done. Congratulations. Thank you, Enzo.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Well done.
There is... Right, well, we didn't get the chance to unpick some of that. We were joined by Enzo Maresca, which was fantastic down here at Stamford Bridge. We've had some brilliant reaction pitch side here. But now we can get into this on Ange Postecoglou, and we'll get to the bit about the fans. Jamie, first of all, on the disallowed goal. His point is this was a really tight game decided by one VAR call, which took too long for it to be clear and obvious.
Yes, but it was clear and obvious. I would say that.
But if it's clear and obvious, why did it take Craig Pawson so long?
That's the frustration, and I totally get his frustration, because it does border on re-refereeing the game. But it was ultimately they got to the right decision. But how he had to stand at the VAR screen and look at it for as long as he did, where you can see it's a blatant foul. He catches him high. It's quite a nasty tackle, if we're honest. If they play on, obviously, and score, and this is what we put VAR in for incidents like this, to help the referee. But it should be a 30 seconds, go and look at it. You must understand the game enough to realise that this is a foul. This is the good angle here. You see it, look, you can see as he comes in there, he takes the initial contact, and as he goes to use his body to get the ball, he catches him right on the knee, there.
That's the angle. That's the angle.
That's the angle. That takes 10 seconds.
Well, that was the angle that he was shown, I think, straight away. And he was actually in front of the monitor for 1 minute and 26 seconds. These things can feel like a long time in the context of the game when everyone is standing and watching and waiting for this one outcome. They're waiting almost for Craig Pawson to come on board with what Jared Gillett is saying here and saying to him, you should not be allowing this goal because of this tackle.
I totally agree with Jamie. I can see Ange's frustration. You know, clearly taking that long is not necessary. We saw it 1, 2 replays. The third one was that image we've just seen there, and that's enough to see. It's a clear foul. You know, he's got his studs on his knee, that's a foul. So why it took so long, I have no idea.
So is the fault not with the actual VAR system on this occasion? Because I think you'd probably both agree, well, I think most people agree, the right decision.
Yeah, and then they've sent him to the screen just to say, have a look, see what you think.
But it's the interpretation, how long it's taken Craig Pawson
that's the frustration.
to come to that decision.
And it's going to be even more difficult next year, because if you can imagine, this is a situation where it goes the other way, and then the referee's got to announce it to the crowd. That's going to be really nice for him. You know, this isn't going to be an easy situation going forward. But ultimately, I don't like it, as you say, and he's always been very anti-VAR. Ange Postecoglou, he doesn't like it. He wants to see the game in its purest form, and I can see it. There are times when VAR drives me insane. Like last night, when you talk about Tarkowski's tackle, how the referee in the VAR can't get to the decision where that's a red. Today, I thought that was quite an easy decision, really, considering, and I just felt like it was a quick decision. Look at it at the VAR, we move on, we start the game again. It's a frustration for Ange, is because he's under immense pressure right now. That's the difference. Yeah. He is a manager that's feeling everyone's on his back, nothing's going his way. He thought he made a decision to substitute someone, brings off Bergvall, brings on Sarr. That goes his way, and he probably thinks that's the breather that I need, that's the break that I needed. But right now he can't catch one, and that's the difference, and he's getting under pressure from everyone, and he's probably not getting any support as well. It's difficult times.
But if we're talking about this particular incident tonight, ultimately it's getting down to the right decision, which was a foul. So it took a long time, yes. The frustration, yes. Did they get the right decision in the end? Yeah, I feel they did.
And it feels like a big decision because it's such a tight game as well. So that's the decision that he was really unhappy about. Then he was questioned about the fans, and quite rightly as well, because this did seem to be a story that was developing through that second half. And let's try and bring some of that to life with some of the pictures and some of the sounds from the game. So this was the substitution. Off comes Bergvall. You can hear the booing. And now listen. So now Pap Sarr has come on. As Jamie says, he's scored the goal, and we can see the reaction of Ange Postecoglou right at the bottom of the screen.
And he's now thinking, I do know what I'm doing.
It looks like he's cupping his ear, isn't he, to the fans?
Yeah, and look, by the way, well, we're here now because we're in the media, we're making a story. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah. It's not. I'm going to be totally honest. It's not ideal, but right now, the disconnect between the fans and the manager is apparent. And the only way he can change that is to start winning games. And it's not going to help his cause. But I get it. You know, the pressures of being a manager and everyone thinking they know better. You should do this, you should do it. It's the hardest job in the world. It's much easier playing. But when you're stood there, and he looks lonely at times because he stands in that technical area on his own. He gets no support. He's probably getting no support whatsoever upstairs on the board.
Well, you say he's getting no support on the technical area, but is it because he doesn't want that support?
No, possibly, but I always feel that to a certain extent, when things are going okay, but when they're not, you start to feel he looks really lonely there. And I feel like sometimes you'd want someone, but he obviously doesn't, maybe throw in a few suggestions to him, but that's not how he obviously coaches. And it's certainly not helping his cause because it makes him look even lonelier stood there, I think.
It's the bigger picture, Gary, the important thing that Spurs somehow come together, manager, well, even higher up, ownership, manager, players and fans for this huge game in the next couple of weeks, the big game on Thursday night and then the following leg.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the only bonus that Tottenham can take from tonight is that they've got their players back and no one's got any significant injuries. But, you know, as a Tottenham fan, they must have been quite excited tonight. For the first time in a while, thinking, wait a minute, we've got a strong team out here. This is going to be a cracking game. And it was the opposite. It was the opposite. I didn't see anything from Tottenham today that would excite me leading into that game. They have a big game at the weekend because they get a convincing win. That week's training is very different than going in now when you've come off the back of a defeat against Chelsea.
Well, so just imagine the flip side of that then, Jamie. They've lost to Ipswich, they've lost to Leicester. If they were to lose to Southampton as well.
But it won't matter if they beat Frankfurt. That's it. It's all or nothing. It genuinely. I've never seen actually a club it is actually joy or despair right now in every aspect, because he will be proven right. Everything that he said early in the season, I always win something in my second season. He is all in on that. And right now the players look like that as well, because even today there were times when he said they did okay and they were built. They didn't. They weren't at it in any category. They never won enough duels. They didn't play out from the back with any real understanding of what they're trying to achieve. Solanke was coming deep. There was everything that was wrong with Tottenham. And it was actually, considering they had everyone back, it's as poor as I've seen them play all season.
It's become a bit of a soap opera, hasn't it, watching this Tottenham team this season. And for Ange Postecoglou, the questions keep on coming. So he left our interview, he went into the main press conference, and this is what he had to say in there.
Jeez, mate, it's incredible how things get interpreted. We just scored. I just wanted to hear him cheer because, I mean, we've been through a tough time and I thought it was a cracking goal, and I wanted them to get really excited because I felt at that point we could potentially go on and win the game. I just felt momentum was on our way. It doesn't bother me that it's not the first time they've booed my substitutions or my decisions. That's fine. They're allowed to do that, but we just scored a goal. We just scored an equaliser. I was just hoping that we could get some excitement. People want to read into that somehow I'm trying to make a point about something. I said I felt, we've been through a tough time, but I just felt there was a bit of a momentum shift there, and if they get really behind the lads, I thought we had the momentum to finish on top of them.
He's got a lot of questions coming his way, and he's pretty fed up with them all, isn't he, right now, Ange Postecoglou? Let's get some more reaction from the Tottenham dressing room, because James Maddison has been speaking to Patrick Davison.
How much does it hurt, James? I can see, just looking at you stood here, how much does losing a game like that hurt you players?
Yeah, it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. It's been one too many times this season. Our fans are rightly disappointed. We're disappointed. And we're just trying hard to search for the answers of why in the league that we're not kind of getting the results in the tight games. We've lost so many games this year by 1 goal margin that we're just not on the right side of. So I don't really want to be out here talking. I don't think fans even want to hear what we've got to say at the minute. So it's about just trying to be better going forward.
Is it tough and actually a little bit upsetting? You go over to the supporters at the end and they're an angry bunch, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, and to be fair, they've got every right to be. I think it's still important that we go over and show our appreciation for them, even though we're not getting a nice reception, let's put it that way. But so that's why I still walk over there. I think they deserve that, even though it's not easy to go over and get powers right at your face. But like I said, they pay their money, they travel all over for us, and we're just as disappointed as they are. But we're trying to put it right.
Is there a message you can give to the supporters, the ones that are watching now at home, the ones that were there today? Because as disappointing as the Premier League season has been, there's a chance, isn't there, in the Europa League to take something pretty big from this season. So a message for them, or is there a way you all can sort of gather around and salvage something from this season?
Well, yeah, it can still be a super special season if we lift silverware. And we're in the quarter-final. We're 2 fixtures away from a European final. So it can still be a very special season. The message would be just stick with us. We need them as much as they need us, And again, they don't want to probably be listening to me right now after another defeat in the league. That's fine, but I have to come out. I have to answer your questions. So just try and stick together, I guess.
Thanks, James.
Cheers.
And in a game of fine margins, it could really have been very different for Tottenham here tonight. They did have a couple of moments at 1-0 when they might have snatched something, which wouldn't have been very pleasant for the Chelsea fans here, Gary, but still, that was a reasonable chance for Mickey van de Ven.
Yeah, they had a couple of half chances in the game. I was saying to Jamie in the studio, it would be a disaster if they got something from the game, the way that it played out in my eyes. But yeah, they had a few half chances.
But there's nothing wrong with this as a counter-attack late.
This
in
is
the
the
game.
best chance of all, yeah, and it's a fantastic save. He's gone early. He's gone so early, spread himself across the goal, and it's a great, great save.
Big moment that, Jamie.
Yeah, it was. Good save. I mean, Sonny just can't quite get enough on it. Good ball by Brennan Johnson, but as I said, it would have been a travesty if they'd have got a point out because he just didn't deserve it. Just Chelsea was so much better in every department.
So to sum up Tottenham, if we can, after all that we've we've heard tonight, what does Ange Postecoglou have to do you think, to still be in that job next season?
Well, I think if they weren't still in Europe, I don't think he'd still be the manager. I think it's been that poor this season, and he knows the price on the ticket. 16 games they've lost. You don't lose 16 games at a club like Tottenham, and yes, they've had injuries, but that's not good enough. He's got to win the cup. James Maddison mentioned it. If they do win the cup, like that, you're creating history. If you don't win it, you will be history. It's one of those. It is all or nothing for Ange Postecoglou, and that's why he's just got to manage the team. Southampton, that's not going to be a pretty atmosphere at home. It's not. It's just going to be really tough. The players are good under pressure. The fans it's a lot. They're not happy. They're not enjoying it right now. But they've got to stick with the team if they can, because one thing for sure on Thursday they will. They will be there in their masses and give them every ounce of their spirit that they can, because they've got to somehow get a result to take to Frankfurt and do what none of us really expect they're going to do right now. But they are capable because they've got the players to do it. But it's not going to be easy. They've got to show more spirit than they have of late.
A really tough, hostile place to go in that second leg as well. But Gary, you must have been in teams where 1 week you were average or less than average, and then as a collective the next week you were a completely different outfit.
Yeah, and as negative as we've been today about Tottenham's performance, you know, their season can be saved in a massive way. You know, the fans, the club, the players, it would be a huge achievement if they won the Europa League, and that is still available for them. And also, I think sometimes it's a distraction. If you look solely on the Premier League, they probably can't wait for this league to be over this season. So it's a distraction from the Premier League going into this European competition with a good chance of picking up silverware for the first time in a long time. So,
mate, you just got me thinking there, because no one did it better than Chelsea. When that Champions League year, when Villas-Boas went, there was like mutiny, and then somehow you managed to all get together and create something so special, winning the Champions League. You know, Roberto Di Matteo, and it almost felt like the players just got together, and that's really what Tottenham have got to do 100%. Right now.
Even in the European Cup, you know, 2013 when we won that, we came out of the Champions League, which was a disappointment for us at the time. And then to go on and win that competition felt amazing. So they still have this opportunity, and they should be grabbing it with both hands, because this will certainly save their season.
So finishing on Chelsea, who have won here tonight, they're back into the top four.
Yep.
Did you like what you saw? Does it give you confidence about what we'll see over the next few weeks with this Chelsea team?
I think so. First of all, I was pleased, obviously, that they've got the likes of Palmer, like we said before, Noni, Nicholas Jackson back fit. That's vitally important for this running, because this is the business end of the season. Make no mistakes about that for Chelsea. And they've gone about business today and got the first result. So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a season I played here without pressures somewhat. And this is the pressures that they have to take on their shoulders. As a young squad, the pressures are, you have 8 games to go and get Champions League spots, which you're obviously, it's in your hands.
And is that pressure on the head coach who we spoke to deliver that as well?
Yes, it is, but, you know, I have seen progression, and I've seen a style, and I saw tonight even the way they're trying to play, you know, the way that I kind of said it with Tottenham, I was kind of baffled the way they were trying to play out. I didn't understand some of the tactics and what I was seeing from them tonight, if I'm totally honest. With Chelsea, I can see a method, you know. I can see, for example, the fullbacks playing inside, getting in these little pockets of space, switching play. Like we said the first half, trying to isolate Sancho or the wingers, 1v1s. You can see a kind of method behind what's going on. It's still a young squad, and like I said, it's progressing in my eyes, but you have to prove that, and it's now, come the end of the season, it can be a great season for Chelsea, or it could be a bit of a stutter. So, and that's the pressure. That's the pressure they have to
Was there
deal
a
with.
spark, Jamie, about Chelsea that perhaps we didn't see before the international break?
Yeah, there certainly was. And I agree with everything that Gary said, but I'm almost trying to understand it. Is that also the Tottenham effect? Because when they come into town, if you're having a bad run, there's no team you want to play more, because that's what they do at times. You know, they make you look so good, and there's been so many times this season they've done that. What I like most about what the manager said when he was here is what he's been accused of a lot is just playing out from the back. The crowd have been a little bit unhappy with playing too much football. But he knew today that the best way to get success was to turn Tottenham and give them a different problem, different proposition, and they did it so well. And I think that's been the criticism of Spurs this year, that this is what we do, this is how we play. No, it's not. You have to change and adapt each time you have a different team. If you play against a team that's playing a really high line, you stick it in behind them. That's what I call common sense. If you play against a side that's playing out, and if you're playing out from the back and you're getting pressed and not getting success, and you keep getting caught, what do? You maybe go long to your centre forward. And that's something that I really enjoyed what he said today.
I totally agree with that, honestly. I totally agree with it. I hear so many times now the philosophy and the way we play, which is great in principle, but you have to adapt and you have to change in certain situations. Like you just said, it was great. He came out and said, we realised that they play a high line, they press quite high. They banged one over the top in the first minute and they were through on goal. And when we've had success in previous seasons, the week leading up to the game, under managers like Jose, under managers like Conte, we worked on different things against the opposition. So we had a rough philosophy, but maybe they turn around and go, you know what, we're not going to do that this week because we know how these are going to play, so we'll try and target X, Y, and Z. And that's the way you've got, and you have got to change. You stick to a certain philosophy, I understand, but there's times in games where you have to make decisions you have to change because of the way the opposition's set up.
Would you have liked to play in that Spurs high line?
What, with my pace?
Not now, that's for sure.
You could play. You could play.
Gary,
I'd love to play tonight, I'll tell you that.
And which team?
Well, obvious.
Gary, thank you very much.